Collapse. Houses in Chinese county towns have become negative assets. A house bought for 400,000 yuan cannot be sold for 200,000 yuan now. This scene is unfolding in many counties across China. What's more, a house that was once worth more than 300,000 yuan can now be bought for 68,000 yuan, which is simply unbelievable. Those buyers who once enthusiastically entered the market are now stuck in the real estate sector. No matter how many times prices drop, selling remains difficult. Looking back to around 2015, housing prices in the county soared continuously. Many people bought houses using compensation from shantytown renovation and demolition. Real estate agencies were crowded with buyers, and properties sold out as soon as they became available. But now, the county's real estate market seems to have plunged into a deep winter overnight. There are more and more vacant houses, but few buyers willing to take over. What exactly caused the collapse of housing prices in the county? The core reason lies in the double blow of population loss and industrial hollowing out. Employment opportunities in the county are limited. Most young people move to first- and second-tier cities, leaving behind mostly elderly residents and vacant homes. Even with lower housing prices, properties still cannot be converted into cash because there isn't enough rigid demand to support the market. Additionally, the past prosperity of the county's real estate market mainly relied on the monetized resettlement of shantytown renovation. Demolished households purchased homes with large compensation sums. Once this wave of demand was exhausted, housing prices in the county fell into the dilemma of having prices but no market. The seemingly booming market at the time was actually a short-lived bubble. When the bubble burst and the market returned to rationality, the decline in housing prices became an irreversible trend. Not only ordinary commercial housing, but also wedding houses and school district properties in the county were not spared. In the past, houses were a rigid demand for marriage. Young people had to buy homes in the county to get married. Now the marriage rate is declining year by year. More and more young people choose to develop their careers in big cities, causing wedding houses in the county to naturally lose demand. Those young people who bought houses under parental pressure now either leave them vacant or try to get rid of them. Unfortunately, the second-hand housing market is completely deserted. Even after being listed for half a year, there is no interest. At the same time, the myth of school district houses has also been shattered by reality. In the past, key primary schools in county towns were highly sought after by parents, driving up the prices of school district houses. But now, the siphoning effect of educational resources in big cities has become increasingly evident, causing many county towns to lose high-quality teachers. Parents would rather rent a house in the city than pay for a school district house in a county town. The most embarrassing situation is for those who once viewed real estate as an investment. Back then, someone spent 980,000 yuan to buy a school district house in a county town, believing that housing prices would inevitably rise and that he could earn at least 200,000 yuan in a few years. But when he was ready to sell, the market price had dropped to 650,000 yuan, and he couldn't even find a buyer. Houses in county towns are no longer assets that retain value, but have instead become a type of negative asset. Even if sellers are willing to lower prices, no one is willing to buy, as the market has long been oversupplied. Buyers can take their time, negotiate lower prices, or even abandon the idea of purchasing altogether. As some developers privately admitted, selling a house in a county town now feels like cutting flesh. The bursting of the county town real estate bubble has also made life difficult for real estate agents. In the past, customers begged them to buy houses, and new properties sold out as soon as they were launched. Now, even with extensive advertising on social platforms and all-day cold calls to potential buyers, no one is interested. Some people viewed a house 3 or 4 times, negotiated the price, but ultimately backed out due to job relocations, rendering the agent's efforts futile. The number of available houses is increasing, but transaction volumes are shrinking. More and more agents are looking for alternative ways to make a living. After all, in such a depressed market, making a living by selling houses has become extremely difficult. The continuous decline in county-town housing prices has become an irreversible trend. This shift in the property market is not only a painful lesson for county-town homebuyers, but also a sign that the entire real estate sector has entered a new phase. In the past, people believed in the myth that housing prices would only rise, never fall. But now, the market has returned to reality, and the logic of real estate investment has completely changed. Walmart asks Chinese suppliers to cut prices to cope with U.S. tariffs. Chinese companies must make concessions to survive. Walmart, a global retail giant, asked Chinese suppliers to reduce prices by 10% in response to U.S. tariffs on China and was subsequently interviewed by Chinese Communist Party officials. The official media even claimed that Walmart could be completely replaced. However, facing bank loans and hundreds of thousands of employees, merchants tend to cut off their arms to survive and accept price cuts as a means of survival. The Chinese Ministry of Commerce interviewed Walmart. On March 12th, the Weibo account Xi'an, affiliated with China Central Television, reported that an unnamed insider revealed that the Ministry of Commerce and other relevant departments had interviewed Walmart on March 11th. The reason was Walmart's alleged demand that some Chinese suppliers significantly reduce prices in an attempt to shift the burden of U.S. tariffs on China onto Chinese suppliers and consumers. The report stated that Walmart's unilateral request for Chinese companies to lower prices could lead to supply chain disruptions. If Walmart insists on price reductions, then Walmart will not only be waiting for an interview. Voice of America reported on March 13th that this suggests the Chinese government may take further countermeasures against Walmart, exacerbating market concerns about political retaliation. Earlier, on March 6th, Bloomberg quoted an insider as saying that Walmart had asked some Chinese suppliers to significantly reduce prices in response to 2 rounds of 10% tariffs imposed by the United States on China. These suppliers, which include kitchenware, clothing, and other categories, were required to lower prices by 10% for each round of tariffs, effectively bearing the full cost of the U.S. tariffs. Insiders stated that the negotiations were conducted individually with manufacturers, and the extent of price reductions varied from company to company. One supplier revealed that although Walmart had also made price adjustments, it did not face the same level of pressure to lower prices as suppliers did. Officials and the public are in 2 different worlds. Suppliers reduce prices to survive. Xi'an noted that approximately 60% of Walmart's global purchases come from China. It argued that Walmart and Chinese suppliers are not in a hierarchical relationship and that Chinese consumers can completely find alternatives. However, as China's economy continues to decline, struggling Chinese companies have reacted very differently from the CCP's official media. Many choose to cut off their arms to survive and cooperate with price reductions. An unnamed employee of a Chinese supplier confirmed to VOA that this wave of price cuts resulted from Walmart's foreign trade company in the U.S. demanding lower prices. Our company reduced prices by 3 percentage points, while other foreign trade companies reduced theirs by 7 percentage points, the employee said. The employee had previously posted a public message on the Douyin platform, lamenting that the company had already reduced prices by 6%. The factory's annual revenue is about 100 million yuan, with a 5% profit margin, roughly 5 million yuan. It is struggling to survive despite the CCP's export tax rebate policy. If the company does not accept this wave of price cuts, it will lose orders and go bankrupt. Because if we don't do it, there are small companies with unit prices 10% lower than ours that will. Mr. Z, a foreign trade businessman in southern China, told Radio Free Asia, "It is a buyer's market now. If my products were in short supply, you definitely wouldn't ask me to lower the price. But if thousands of workers in my factory all rely on Walmart for their livelihood and cannot survive without Walmart, do you think I will lower the price? Of course, I will lower the price." According to him, suppliers also have strategies to cope. "We will negotiate with upstream material suppliers. They lower the price a little, we lower the price a little, and in the end, everyone's profit shrinks a bit, but we can still survive." Another approach is relocating factories overseas. Among Mr. Z's acquaintances, some Walmart suppliers are already preparing to move their factories to Vietnam. Analysis: buyers have the upper hand, Chinese companies may give in. Market observers generally believe that Walmart has a high success rate in demanding price cuts, as Chinese suppliers must secure orders or risk losing them to competitors. A Beijing-based consumer industry analyst, who requested anonymity due to the sensitivity of the topic, told VOA that Walmart and its subsidiary Sam's Club have traditionally been friendly to Chinese suppliers. However, this time, in order to cope with tariffs or competitive bidding, they have followed the example of Chinese companies like BYD and pressured suppliers to lower prices. This, he said, is understandable. He further noted that based on BYD's successful precedent of price cutting, Chinese suppliers may still have to make concessions to Walmart. At the end of the day, they have to do business, and they can't afford to lose such a major client, Walmart. In February 2025, U.S. President Trump proposed replacing the EB-5 investment immigration program with a Trump Gold Card worth $5 million, granting permanent residency to those who purchase it. Trump stated, "We will start selling gold cards. You have a green card, but this is a gold card. The price is about $5 million. It grants the rights of a green card plus a path to citizenship." The announcement quickly drew widespread attention. Chinese citizens suffering under the Chinese Communist Party's tyranny saw a glimmer of hope and responded immediately. Man, something big happened today. People in Shanghai and Guangzhou lined up overnight to apply for passports. Every family has someone ready to go abroad at any time. The consulates and immigration offices in both cities are overwhelmed. Guess where these people are headed? It's all because Trump issued a $5 million gold card to the world. Now, 250,000 people worldwide are queuing for it. Man, you can get a permanent U.S. green card in as little as a year. If you stay in the country for 2.5 consecutive years, you can convert it into a U.S. passport through the EB-1A Outstanding Talent Channel. As soon as this news broke, people in Shanghai and Guangzhou got excited, and households rushed to apply for passports. A long queue has formed outside the U.S. consulate in Shanghai for visa applications. The Shanghai entry-exit hall is also packed. Woman, here's the latest update on U.S. visa appointment interviews. All interview slots in Shanghai for July have been booked, with no new slots available. If you log into the U.S. visa appointment system today, you won't see any open dates. If you're planning to travel in July or August, your best option is to secure an expedited appointment. If you're considering travel between September and December, complete your DS-160 form now and monitor the system for openings. Once new slots are released, you can book your interview immediately. The surge in demand from Shanghai residents wanting to immigrate to the U.S. has led to this situation. Man, brothers, I won't pretend anymore. I'll be up front. The U.S. visa interview in Shanghai could still be scheduled in the past 2 days, and some spots remain, but the waiting time has increased to July. There are no more slots available now. The last time this happened was 2 years ago. When will new slots open? I'm waiting for appointments, and so are my clients. Woman, it's too scary. The latest data from the Civil Aviation Administration shows that in the first quarter of this year, the number of people entering and leaving Pudong Airport exceeded 6.8 million, of which fewer than 1.5 million were foreigners. The rest were basically Chinese people leaving the country. It seems that a new wave of emigration is coming. This blogger explained why the Shanghai emigration wave is so intense. 380,000 people in Shanghai are lining up to go abroad, and their goals are surprisingly consistent. Now, the consulates of this country are about to be overcrowded. The main reason is that the immigration threshold is too low, especially for people in first and second-tier cities. It is even easier for them. If you can provide a deposit certificate of more than 1 million, you can apply for a second identity for your entire family. Not only can you freely enter 29 European countries, but your children will also receive 14 years of free education, and there will be shortcuts for further studies in the future. Even retirement issues will be resolved for you. In fact, this is happening not only in Shanghai but also in Guangzhou, where people applying for immigration have flocked to the U.S. consulate to apply for visas. There were so many people at the U.S. consulate in Guangzhou that the consulate's system was paralyzed. Man, the machine at the U.S. consulate broke down, so they had to resume visa processing at 1 p.m. The machine broke down, right? Well, this happened at the U.S. consulate. All the people came out, and the machine was broken. All the people came out, and the machine at the U.S. consulate was broken. Even in Beijing, the capital of the Chinese Communist Party, many people were queuing to apply for immigration. This is the scene in front of the U.S. Embassy in Beijing at 6 a.m. It was estimated that more than 4,000 people were present. Man, it's 5:50 a.m. now. I'm at a subway station in Beijing, heading to apply for a visa. My documents are inside. I even wore a San Francisco sweatshirt today. Wish me luck. It's been 9 months since I applied for a visa. Today, I can finally submit my application. I'm so excited. I didn't sleep last night. I hope it gets approved. Come on, it's still dark. I just rented a shared bicycle. Haha, I'm riding a bike to apply for a U.S. visa. I really hope it gets approved. Go, go, go. There's a queue at the entrance of the U.S. Embassy for bag storage. Look at this. Now that you have obtained a visa, you can buy a plane ticket. This reflects the true attitude of many Chinese people toward emigration. Those who are still struggling with their mortgages have already cashed out and left. You can see that a large number of people from Beijing and Shanghai have gone to Australia and Canada. Many of them sold their houses, got tens of millions of yuan, and cut the leaks. It's incredible. Overnight, all of Shanghai is selling houses. 9 out of 10 properties are listed. Now, no one will ask you where you bought your house. They will only ask if you have sold it. Owning a house seems to have become a joke. In Shanghai, more than 160,000 properties are on the market, with hundreds of new listings added every day. Man. Just now, I listed all my properties in Shanghai, including ordinary houses, shops, and serviced apartments. Some people think I made a mistake by choosing to sell my house when the Shanghai real estate market is about to recover or is already recovering. However, even if I do this and the market rebounds soon, I will not regret it because I have relieved myself of financial pressure and no longer have to bear such a heavy mortgage every month. Oh, let me tell you, the Shanghai real estate market has completely changed. Last night I looked up second-hand housing data and my hands were shaking. 160,000, a full 160,000 houses are listed for sale. Now, out of 10 people on the street, 8 are selling their properties. You know, these days, when people meet, no one asks where your house is located. The first question they ask is, "Have you sold your house?" People in Guangzhou are also eager to sell their houses to cash out. Overnight, all of Guangzhou is selling houses. The situation has completely changed. Out of more than 100 people, 99 have listed their properties. Now, no one asks where you bought your house. They only ask whether you've sold it and at what price. Owning a house has become a joke. Why are people mocked for owning a house? Because housing prices are falling so fast that it's catching everyone off guard. In 2019, when Guangzhou's housing prices were at their peak, Ms. Li spent 4.6 million yuan on a 130 square meter house. Unexpectedly, the pandemic hit, and both she and her husband lost their jobs. In 2023, the market collapsed further, and with the birth of a child, the value of their 4.6 million yuan home dropped to 2.8 million yuan. Ms. Li was devastated. The wealthy are rushing to sell their houses and immigrate, while the lower class continues to struggle. Every day, hundreds of thousands of people in Haizhu District, Guangzhou become unemployed, and many of them cannot find jobs. Some are forced to sleep under bridges. This is Guangzhou, a first-tier city, yet there are so many people sleeping under bridges. Who can truly understand their suffering? It is incredibly difficult to find a job in Guangzhou this year. These people endure hardship just to save some money for their families. Who can empathize with their struggles? Even Beijing, the political center of the Chinese Communist Party, is in decline. Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, the three first-tier cities in China, are also international metropolises. They hold an important position in China, yet now they have collectively declined to such an extent. In fact, as early as June 2022, after Shanghai was lifted from lockdown, a wave of emigration began. Many people in Shanghai sold their properties and moved abroad with their families. This trend has continued over the past few years. Why is the economy of Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou declining? It is because many wealthy individuals have emigrated with their families, taking substantial funds with them. This time, President Trump's gold card also extends an olive branch to wealthy Chinese with financial strength. As a result, we see people in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou willing to line up, sometimes overnight, to apply for a U.S. visa, just to secure a normal living environment for themselves and their families. This is what people often call voting with their feet, and it serves as both a great irony and a loud slap in the face of the Chinese Communist regime.